Wow, what a responsibility to be the leadoff hitter here for your all's first.
You gotta get on base, I'll strike out.
Right? We're going on base.
You got 10 minutes.
Right. I provided a whole lot of information, so I'm not
Yes,
going
you
to
did.
run my mouth a whole lot. But you guys are really going to hear from a lot of great agencies tonight that are doing a lot of great work in our community. So we really do need you. We need you a lot. Our agency is a fairly large agency in the grand scheme of things in our community, and we do a lot of great things. And yes, sir.
Okay. You're with Blue Ridge?
Yes, Blue Ridge
Okay,
Opportunities.
you
Sorry.
didn't tell me who you were and what your name is, so
My name?
everybody here will know who we're talking
I'm
about.
sorry. I am Kathy Wolf-Heberly. I'm the
Thank
Executive
you.
Director of Blue Ridge Opportunities. I've been the Executive Director for, I believe, 9 years now with the agency, for 14, almost 15 years, and lived in Warren County myself for a little over 26. My kids have been through school. I sat on FAP, so your role at CPMT is very important. I understand how these pieces all work together for good in our community. So fairly knowledgeable of the services that we have around. Like I said, I provided a whole lot of information to you guys. So I'd rather open it up for kind of like questions so that I can answer those instead of boring you with what you may or may not know already. And also invite you, if there's things that I'm not able to answer tonight due to time constraints, please, my door is always open. I'm on the corner of Water Street on across the street from Southern States, and like I said, my door is always open. You're welcome to come, hang out, see a whole lot of joy because we have a whole lot of fun. There's not a day that we have that's not happy, and you get hugs and love, and really do get to experience a whole lot of greatness every day.
Kathy, one thing maybe to accentuate, you got $1 million budget.
Yes.
We're $30,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe from past discussions that $30,000 is important for you in getting the other grants and funds that help.
Absolutely, it
your operation.
is very important because in order to get other grants and other funding, we kind of need to show that our community is actually supporting our mission and what we're doing in our cause also. When you try to approach someone else and your community really is not supporting you, they kind of want to know why. So I know that the amount in the grand scheme of our budget does look fairly small. However, it is very important. If you look at our financial statements, our first quarter is always great. It looks that way, always. Our second quarter usually always falls off. Our budget year runs from July 1 to June 30 because snow happens and sickness and illness, and what we are able to bill Medicaid for that drastically reduces during the winter months. So the first quarter we kind of make a little money. The second quarter we usually always, it's kind of hit or miss. December through the end of February, I always cringe at the end of the month when I click that QuickBooks P&L report. But then we start picking things back up in order to level out flat. So we've got to have the financial basis in order to cover those lean months. And the timing of the money that we get from the Board of Supervisors is pretty essential during that season that we operate in.
Now, when you say sickness, you're talking about the clients
The
that you
client
provide
sickness.
services with.
Correct.
You build Medicaid for the time that you service
Correct.
with them in the building.
Some of them. We've got a group of unfunded individuals, which is a huge service gap in our community, which with you being on CPMT, it would be great to sit and have a conversation with you about how that, because we're what happens from school's responsible till 22, and after 22, then what? And there's a whole lot of then what of nothing.
Oh, I
in the
look
world.
forward to sitting down. I
And
want to learn as
so,
much as I can.
to explain how that system is, and right now we're the sole provider of a lot of those services in our community.
How many clients do you have? I saw that you're at capacity, so how many is that?
We're at 60, and that's
60 people.
my.
And that's your building max?
That's my building max.
Okay.
My building
So
max.
you're actually turning people away because you can't.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, we don't have a waiting list right now, and that's a huge funding. I could seat a whole lot more people in my building tomorrow if I made the phone call and somebody wanted to come up off of the funds in order to provide the services, and that just we can't carry any more unfunded individuals. There's a lot that need services that we just can't financially support.
Can you highlight what services you offer? Just so
We are primarily a day support service where we are serving individuals that need more supports. We made kind of we've got a little bit of folks that are working on some vocational skills, but it's more that pre-vocational work. If you're not ready to try to access the Department of Rehab to try to get your own job yet, you're working on anxiety or some a lot of independent living skills. I mean,
life skills.
exactly. We've got folks that need fed. We have folks that are still working on writing their name. A lot of those things that you still see. So the supports that we provide are really broad in that. Keeping everybody engaged is our goal.
Right.
You get your funds from different directions, I'm sure.
Yes.
Do you do any actual fundraising?
We currently do not. A lot of that is, I put in here, with our budget now hitting $1 million, we're going to be picked up by Charity Navigator, not necessarily by choice. So we're working on putting the fiscal accountability, the visibility, and all of those things in place that are going to rate us appropriately once that occurs, when our 990 is filed this year in May. So once we get picked up by that, that'll open up a different set of accountability and access for fundraising. We've got some challenges in the fundraising department, and our board's currently working on that. We just had a meeting last night, and we were actually just discussing that. We do some little things, the Facebook posts here and that kind of stuff. It's small, but my personal opinion is there's more community connection and maintaining a presence in the community with our little greenhouse sale and things like that than what fundraising really is about. So,
Do you still do, I know years ago, your clients made like napkins and things.
No,
they don't do any of those things anymore?
No, we found that there was a huge stigma on what folks expected the clients that we serve to do in the community. They're expected to do, make mud mats, make little trinkets, put this thing together, and it actually can be rather demeaning across the board of this is all they can do. No, we volunteer and we clean for Calvary Church. We clean their facility every week. Our staff kind of cleans it and our guys are along for the ride. We do a lot of those kinds of things to try to break out of this isolation in our building. I don't want to be in the building. I can serve more people out than what I can in. So I try to get all of that old stuff kind of gone.
Oh, okay. I just never thought that way. I got several things done for anniversary parties and things, and I thought it was the coolest thing that I could get that from, and help them at the same time. So
How about your
Two ways
kind
of
of
thinking.
for-profit work? I know you do like mailings and things like that.
We've limited the for-profit work that we're doing to non-profit organizations at this point, so we've kind of veered away from all of the for-profit work.
Like DuPont and some of that stuff.
We still do a little bit of stuff because Exalta loves us and we love them, and it's more of a relationship thing than actually, it's relationship.
Than a profit thing.
Than a profit thing. When it comes to the mailings, we're doing all the fire department mailings. Those things they pay for postage. Or printing, or like the Warren County Education Group, they pay for printing and mailing. They're not necessarily paying for us to put it together because we're volunteering our time. We package all of the candy for the fire department. That's fun. Our guys love doing that. You just sitting there putting 5 pieces of candy in a bag, and they're just waiting for me to bring that video back that because I live in town and I actually live in your district, that says we did this. So they're really excited about that kind of work.
Well, your 10 minutes is...
My 10 minutes is up? It's 7:09. I got 1 minute.
I got a 709 too.
All right.
I'm looking at...
Oh,
All right.
710.
All right.
710.
7:10. All right, guys.
Well,
Thank you very much.
I'm sure they'll be in touch if we have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
additional
absolutely.
questions.
Please, all of my contact information is on the front of that. Come see me.
Absolutely.
Come see me.
Look forward to doing that.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy.
How are you?
Good. I'm Krista Shiplet.
Thank you.
I am the Executive Director of the Warren Coalition here in town. I have been the director at the coalition for 10 years now. Prior to that, I ran another coalition in West Virginia for 10 years. The coalition is a drug prevention agency primarily, but we also work with things that help promote healthy community, give the kids healthy choices, that sort of things around that. So I have a part of our coalition, we have a smaller coalition under it called WAHOO, which stands for working to achieve healthy outcomes and opportunities, and it's an obesity prevention group that's tiered under the coalition. And we also have another group that the coalition is the lead agency for called the Northwestern Prevention Collaborative, and it is a combination of the Warren Coalition, along with the Family Youth Initiative, which operates out of out of Shenandoah County. They're a prevention coalition, and then PACA, which operates out of Page, and they're a coalition, as well as other partners. And we have some grants around that are about preventing the opiate crisis or working to dial that down. So we do a lot of work around the opiate crisis. The coalition primarily works with children. I'm the only one in the office who works with adults. I work in the regional jail a couple of days a week, providing anger management, anxiety management, trauma management, drug and alcohol education, addiction support services, and then a program called Getting Ahead While Getting Out, which is trying to prevent people from recidivism. We do programming for parents as well. I just left a parenting dinner that we're having right now to try to give support services to parents of children in Project Courage, which you guys have some descriptions of in there. So we do programs to try to help support the parents as well as the children, and are involved in many things to support kids in Warren County. We have a staff right now of 5. I am getting ready to hire another full-time position beginning in February. And then we'll also have a part-time position the one I'm hiring in February, will do some community outreach for us, but they're also going to be doing some work for me in Shenandoah County, and I'm going to have a part-time position that's coming in Page for a grant that we got for some support for that. And we're really working hard to try to integrate services around the opiate crisis so that we're combining prevention, treatment, and recovery, and working to get more services here. We are going to go after a $1 million grant that will work to try to bring more people into this area who address health needs, who help provide mental health services, help provide some more addiction services, because we really don't have a lot of that here. It's hard for people to get services, and we're also combining that with Page and Shenandoah. And in Shenandoah County, the average number for mental health workers in Virginia is 1 to 600. In Page County, it's 1 to 3,300 people. Not easy to get help and support if you have any kind of mental health struggles or any kind of addiction struggles, but we're all paying for them to sit in the jail. So at $28,000 a year, I think we can find other ways to invest our money and maybe get these people to be productive and have the lives that they envision for themselves and be able to take care of their kids and contribute the other way. So we're working hard on that. Courage is a brand new program. We're very excited about Courage. It is a VOCA grant, so it's a state grant from the Division of Criminal Justice Services. It's a 2-year grant, and it's really targeting kids who have been victims or witnessed trauma. So if they've had physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, or they've witnessed domestic violence between their parents, that's how they get into this program. The program right now is only open to children in the middle schools and the kids in the non-traditional programs. Our goal was that we would serve 65 kids. This is the first year, 65 kids for the school year. We're at 62 right now. It's January. So unfortunately, we're going to have more kids than that. And when I did the estimate, the honest estimate that I thought we'd have for the populations based, I know, on how many kids experience trauma, I thought realistically we could provide that service to 350 children. But I don't have the manpower to make that happen. The grant wasn't that big, so we don't have the manpower to do that.
Do you have the space to do that?
We do it in the schools. So it happens during the school day. There's a mentoring component to it. So if any of y'all don't have anything better to do and you're interested in being trained in a mentor on your lunch hour to go in and work with and provide some positive, uplifting supports for those, we are definitely in the market for mentors. We also have a behavioral health coach who works with the kids and try to enhance their educational experience and get the classroom to be a better, safer place so they can learn better. We're trying to get grades up and absenteeism down and reduce the number of times they get in trouble so they get suspended. And it's going really well. We've gotten the numbers. We just did the first set of them because we've had kids in service now long enough that I think it's at least worth a look for what did you do this year versus last year at this time, for how many days of school you missed, how many days that you were in suspension. And the numbers are good. They're looking good. They also get a program called COPE, which is based on cognitive behavioral therapy. That's what people generally do. It's evidence-based to help the kids address anxiety and address depression. The girl who delivers that is also a certified anger management specialist with the state and the courts. And so if she feels like there's anger, she can weave that in with the kids. So they get 3 touches from 3 caring adults. That's what evidence shows is what it takes to build resilience in children. The coalition, even though we're a drug prevention agency, I'm a certified trauma trainer for the state of Virginia. And what they've found is that trauma in childhood contributes to lifelong problems. The more you have, the bigger the problems and the shorter your lifespan. So if you had 6 adverse childhood experiences and you don't get support and help, population attributable, you'll lose 20 years of your life. So we'd like to try to change that. It also contributes hugely to drug use. 78% of our injectable drug users are based on trauma in childhood. So we are really going back to root causes and how do we help people. I can't necessarily prevent, mom and dad from getting a divorce, but I can help provide you support and teach you coping skills so that you're in a place where you feel like you can stand on your own 2 feet and you don't need drugs to help you do that. That's part of it.
Do you have volunteer mentors? Is that
Yes.
how many
that's
do
what
you have?
That's what
I was
asked
going to say,
before.
is there how you can cover all the...
Right now,
Right, yeah.
right now we have 11 in-house who are trained. So we started trying to get them once we started getting kids in service, and they have to go through all the background checks, and they have to go through the mentoring training, and then they get paired with a child that we think makes sense for them. We ask people to come on their lunch hours to be paired with children in the schools. And we're definitely looking for more. So I'm constantly going around saying, if you don't have anything better to do in your lunchtime, we got some kiddos who could really benefit from you. We do lots of community outreach things. The coalition has made the decision that when we put on events for kids, like we did a kickball event for middle schoolers Friday night at the school, it was free. And we gave away 2 Garmin fitness trackers as part of that to try to get kids come out. That's part of our obesity prevention initiative. We do celebrate Kids Day. We gave tickets to 400 kids this year free to bring them in. We got people to sponsor so the kids didn't have to pay. It's about kids who couldn't afford to do and be included. We really are dedicated to trying to help them so they can have as much of a quote-unquote normal childhood experience and not miss out on going to the fun things and doing the pony rides and that sort of stuff because they don't have the money. It's not about making money when we put those on for us. It's about covering costs, and we made that as a conscious decision. We do ask for sponsorships from people for the year to help offset that, or a particular event. We do a huge mental health conference, bring in people who are nationally respected speakers, and basically are just trying to cover the cost of the event. So our people locally, because there's not a lot of money, can get training that is of a national caliber without having to leave the county and that they can afford. So we really are about, just trying to make ends meet and make costs happen. So we do provide anger management services and stuff, and we run them at $40 an hour. There's no place around here that's going to come anywhere close to that. But again, our decision was, can we cover a cost? I'm not really interested in making money. I'm interested in helping people. And so we do that as best, we obviously have to pay people who are doing it and make sure we pay our liability insurance and those other sorts of things to be in business. But it's not about trying to make money. It's about trying to help people.
Time to take a breath.
Okay.
We've given you 10 minutes.
Okay.
And that 10 minutes is up.
Well, there you go.
And you utilized it well, I
Yeah,
tell
you did.
I have a question. What is PFS?
So PFS is a Partnerships for Success grant.
Okay, so that's a grant.
So we everything that you see on there basically are grants. We
Okay.
basically operate on grants, except for the few sponsorships we get and the money we get
Got
out of
it.
the county. And they come and they go. So one of those PFSs is brand new. I just got it awarded, and the other one is in year 5 and it's going out the door.
Okay.
So Crystal's offices are based at the community center. She's in space that is only the school board space, but they partner to run the program in the schools. So we're landlord, but it seems to work well, and you utilize the space there, the community center for.
We do. That's the parenting dinner was there when I left, and we in turn with this obesity prevention grant generally try to give between $10,000 and $15,000 a year back to the county in built. So we gave $10,000 to the splash pad. We built the exercise station out there for $15,000. Gave money to the frisbee golf swing set up on the hill. So we do try to come back and bring money in to build stuff that goes along with our mission. Thank you all very much. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much
It
for
was
coming
nice to
in.
meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Doug, I'll shoot you that email so we
Yeah,
can try to-
perfect. Yeah, I'll try to run it down for you.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Tammy Sharp, and I am from Phoenix Project. I'm the executive director there. And thank you for having us, and I'll let Susan introduce herself.
I'm Susan Herbeck, and I'm on the board of the Phoenix Project for 6 years, I guess.
Yes, from the very beginning.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so we're excited. Okay, so thank you for this opportunity. I know that you're going to hear from some really great groups. All of us are important and do a lot of great things in this community. So I'll tell you a little about our funding request. We are the only domestic violence agency in Front Royal. So we serve all of Front Royal and all of Warren County. And so not only do we provide the core services of crisis intervention, hotline calls, housing of those that are in imminent danger, we also have added prevention programs, which I'm really excited about, and the community should be excited about, because we are actually have a program that we are trying to prevent domestic violence victims from becoming homeless. And so if we can prevent that, that's a step in the right direction. So that's one of the preventions that we're doing. Another prevention that I'm really excited about is we are doing primary prevention in the middle schools. So we're doing education about healthy relationships, setting healthy boundaries, all geared toward changing the social norms and what's acceptable, so that later in life we can prevent either the perpetration of violence or being a victim of violence. So we're really excited about that. With those new programs, we have brought in more federal dollars, and those federal funds require match. So we have to have matching funds of 20%. And when you are applying for grants, they want to see the community support. Not only the partnerships that we have in the community, which are wonderful, the partnerships with all the other nonprofits, social services, law enforcement, CCAP, House Pope, all of the organizations, but they want to know that the government, that the county supports us as well. And that's why it's really important that we are supported by the county. Already this year, so in just the last 6 months, just to give you an idea of how many people are in need of our services, we have served 143 clients in the last 6 months. We've answered 551 hotline calls. We've housed 36 people for 218 nights. And we have prevented 4 families from becoming homeless. So that's a lot in 6 months' time. We've increased the overall budget of our agency budget, and we continue to grow. We continue to see our 3- and 5-year plan to where we are in a good place financially. We're not a floundering agency, and I think that's important to know, because you're not giving money to an agency that if they don't get this money, they go under. But we do definitely need the money, if that makes sense. Susan, do you want to say anything?
No,
No, no, she says
You're doing a fine job.
Does anyone have any questions?
When you say you
No,
go
I-
into schools, how do you do that? I mean, does the school identify children and, through guidance counselors, and then you're put in the guidance counselor office to talk to them? Do you go in groups and classrooms? How do you do that?
That's a great question, because we actually do both. So if we have a child that is identified as experiencing or witnessing domestic violence, the parent may choose for us to meet with the child during school hours. And we have a really great relationship with all of the schools and the school board. They are anxious and welcoming for us to come in and provide all of these services are free of charge. And so it might look like us meeting one-on-one with the child to talk about their situation in age-appropriate ways, to foster their resiliency, to let them know it's okay to talk about it, and then to give them coping skills. And that happens often, but also in particular the prevention program that we are doing is Do You, which is it has a lot of research behind it, and it is a small group based prevention program. So children were identified by not only the teachers but guidance counselors who recognized that they might be at risk and would benefit from these small group activities. And so what started out to be 2 groups in 6th grade, they asked us to come and do 2 groups in 6th, 7th, and 8th, and in both middle schools. So there's also high school programs that we would like to move into, a Safe Dates program that really helps with healthy relationships.
How many people do you have working with you?
Right now we have a staff of 5. So I am the director, and then we have a part-time admin assistant and volunteer coordinator. And then we have someone who is a DV court advocate, so we go to court and follow through with that process, ask for protective orders, accompany them for those situations. Then we have someone who's dedicated to the children's services and another person who's dedicated to the homeless prevention.
Okay. How many are women, how many are men? I know that's an odd question, but
It's not an odd question at all. We are all women, not because that's the way that I would like it, but when you're advertising for a position and the applicants, I don't ever have men apply, and we do see a lot of male clients. That's one of the things that we have seen an increase in, because it isn't associated, and we get the word that we serve all victims of domestic violence. And so it doesn't matter
The gender.
well, good for you.
But I would not be opposed to gentlemen working with us.
I'm assuming that you work with volunteers too, and
Yes, we do
you
have volunteers.
you need mentors like everybody else. I mean,
We always can use great volunteers, absolutely.
well, your time is just about up.
Okay.
About 10 minutes, unless we got other questions, and we're sure glad to ask them. Hopefully get answers.
I'd just like to add that I was really excited about the education program. Being in education myself, and I think it's wonderful that the school system is allowing us to go into the schools to,
And what was your name again? Miss
Susan Herbeck.
Susan Herbeck, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Do you
know
get
your
much
name.
pushback from parents that don't want you to talk to the children?
No, I mean, if the parent doesn't want us to, we
I know you
certainly
can.
wouldn't push that, right?
Yeah.
But most of the parents are they sign a permission slip. Of course, they're notified, and So far, we haven't had any parents that have said, no, we don't want.
That's great.
The material's presented in such a way that it's not,
It's not threatening at
it
all.
doesn't,
Right.
it's not
It
threatening.
doesn't point
and
them
it-
out that.
No.
It doesn't say, hey, you may be a victim of domestic violence.
No, but I could see where if you were a victim, they're so reluctant to disclose anything that,
Sometimes, yeah.
um,
And that's what we're really doing with the prevention is changing the way we view domestic violence, and that it's not something that you have to keep hidden. It's
How
not
frequently
something-
are you doing this daily?
In the schools right now, we work around their schedules and with snow, but we're in there 2 to 3 days a week. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're
We
welcome.
appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
One more question. Where's the Phoenix Project office?
Our office is located at 222 South Royal Avenue.
Okay.
Kind of right around, up from Jack Evans.
Okay,
I've seen
that's where I
the
was-
sign.
One of the big Victorian houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right across the street, isn't it?
It's right, yeah.
Yeah,
sort
kind of, sort of, right.
Yeah.
Donna House.
Because it used to be across the community center.
Right, correct.
It's across
Yes.
from Donna House.
And you moved.
We
That's-
needed more space.
I wanted to ask the question.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
I believe the
Nice.
sign at the community center still